Here in just one moment, but before we do, if anybody on the call would be so kind as to confirm that both audio connection and video connection are working A-OK, and then we can get started. You can confirm just by typing that everything is all right in the chat box on your right-hand side of the webinar window. Got confirmation from William that everything is all right. Once more, welcome everybody to the VooPlayer Weekly Webinar Call. My name is Peter. I am VooPlayer's product manager, and we are holding these weekly webinars in order to, as the name itself indicates, answer any questions that you as users may have, also to provide any training on advanced use cases of video in your business, as well as to showcase new stuff that we've been working on, as well as to gather, organize, prioritize, and roadmap any feedback, ideas, suggestions, recommendations for continuing to improve VooPlayer and continuing to drive more value through it to your guys' this video business use cases. As mentioned, the format of the webinar is pretty straightforward. So at any time that you have a question, you're more than welcome to just, sorry, wrong window, drop it in the chat box over here on your, give me 1 second, and drop it over here in the chat box on your right hand side, and we'll just start answering them in the order that they come in. If you're not able to attend any of these webinars, weekly replays are available both on our YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook group, links to which are provided in the chat box. So if you haven't subscribed to their channel or joined that group, we do encourage you to do so, as they'll help always keep you up to date with everything going on with VooPlayer, as well as with the community, and you can share experiences and so on, all of that good stuff. Also, one more resource that I would like to bring up is our knowledge base, docs.vooplayer.com, in particular the Getting Started section. You're welcome to explore, but if you're just getting started with VooPlayer, this is the place where we recommend you turn your attention to, as it has nifty little tutorials and step-by-step processes on how you can create your first video, add features to it, and then publish it on your platform, on social media, and so on and so on and so on. So definitely recommend checking that out. One more thing actually I want to bring up is that if you have something that you'd like to share with us, or a feature that you would like to request, or you just want to see what we've been up to, we do recommend, once you're inside of the application, to come over here on the left hand side, click on documentation and support, and click on submit and vote on ideas, which will take you to our product portal, where you can see all of the stuff that we're currently working on, all of the stuff that's under consideration. So all of these are requests and ideas from your fellow VooPlayer users that you may vote on, and that helps us better understand the importance that specific items have. And as mentioned, you can also see stuff that's been recently launched, as well as you have the ability, most importantly, to submit a new idea, and you can describe what will help you drive more value out of VooPlayer and how important that is to you. And this really helps us organize and map things accordingly. If you're not able to attend the webinar but have a question which you would like to have answered, we're always available via our live chat, which is that widget on the right hand side of your screen, as well as if you'd like to submit a detailed question with a lot of details, such as bug reports or sales questions or pricing points and so on, you're more than welcome to click over here on contact support and select an option for a detailed ticket, where you can go through the process of opening a ticket. Alrighty, I think that's all of the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Now let's see if we can turn to some questions. Rick is saying, hoping for Hopin conferencing platform integration. First I hear of it, so let me just see what it is. Hoping for Hopin. nifty and catchy. So let me just see what it is. Easy ride in this city. Hoping online events platform. That must be it. I've never really seen it, but I assume it's sort of like webinar, event reception stage, event networking, event sessions, event booths. Rick, maybe you can go into a little bit more detail with regards to what kind of integration you foresee with. Is it just for playbacks of live events? Because I'm assuming they have an option to sort of like download the recording video, which you could then upload to VooPlayer. This guy over here looks like a lot like a guy I know from Pittsburgh. I think it's him. Does it say what his name is? Let me just open an image. Tariq. That's not him. All right, never mind. And he is a UX designer. That's maybe they changed their names for privacy. Sorry, I just caught off guard. I think I know this guy. All right, Rick is saying they record the events, so if VooPlayer can seamlessly grab the videos for playback, is there an update on channels? So, all right, so just following up on Rick's question, they record the events, so if VooPlayer can seamlessly grab the videos for playback. That's not really a type of an integration that we're doing or have done thus far, where we go out and fetch the video sources from somewhere. However, I'll definitely note your integration requests or integration hope, so it can be further explored. But I assume they have some sort of a API with which one can interact. But they record the event, so if VooPlayer can seamlessly grab the videos for playback, like automatically grab the videos, everything can be done to some extent. So I'm sure that something can be done. I'll definitely note that. So if more people join that hoping integration request, maybe we'll look into it further. William has asked, is there an update on the VooPlayer channels feature? It is something that we are currently looking into as part of that player rework that I was talking about, and for making an extremely lightweight version of VooPlayer, and we're really focusing a lot of our efforts towards that now, instead of developing new features for the current player. So the new player is something that both from the performance standpoint and from an interaction standpoint and from a usability standpoint, we think just integrates a lot of lessons learned over the past few years, and that's something that we want to leverage, and we don't necessarily want to spend additional time pumping new features into the existing player. So that's the shift that we're making towards that player. Rick is saying your screen sharing quality has improved. What gives? I wasn't aware that there were different qualities of the recording. Maybe your internet connection is working better, and hence you're seeing a better video quality coming in from my end, or maybe my internet connection is faster. I don't know. Let me just check how fast my internet is. Speed test. Yeah, speed test. About regular. I'm on Wi-Fi and in a conference room that I'm usually in, so nothing changed on my end. So probably somewhere down the pipeline, we got some sort of an improvement. Alrighty, William is asking, are you talking about Wistia-like channels that was discussed? Lost me here. Upload is what we need to see. So as far as the channels go, just to clarify that, so we are definitely looking into integrating Wistia-like channels. However, and that's something that we're looking into as part of the player rework. So I don't know if you were on the last webinar call, William, but I spent some time talking about how we are developing a new, not necessarily a version, but a new approach to the player. So rather than optimizing the current infrastructure of the player and trying to cut it down in size and trying to optimize its performance and trying to sort of polyfill it for a lot of different new restrictions in the both browser and operating system worlds, we've decided to do a player and build it up from scratch. And as part of that player, we're looking into integrating channels into that player rather than pumping new features into the existing player, which is why that's that and every other new feature that we're coming across as a viable idea is going directly into the considerations for that new player, which is proving to be an amazing feat, and we're something that we're really proud of, and we can't wait to have you guys start testing it out sometime soon. All right, let me see. Do we have any other questions in the meantime? Glad we could clear that up. William, Rick, hoping you're pleased with my upload speed. Do we have any other questions? In the meantime, these webinars have been getting a bit slow, but I need to start doing other pushes for notifications for new people to come join, and hopefully conduct some training sessions on these calls. Alex is saying, is there a way to see insights about how many users turn subtitles on in different languages? Ooh, that's a really good idea for a data point. We currently don't collect that piece of information, Alex, but I see no reason as to why we couldn't. So I've definitely just noted your feedback for further improvement, and that's certainly a piece of data that I would like to see for some of my videos. I've just never heard of a request for tracking that. We track a lot of different items on videos, such as clicks on overlays, interactions with locks, and pausing events, replay events, and a lot of that stuff. But never had a request to track subtitles. I'm just thinking out loud to see if we actually already have that data by the number of the requests for an individual file, because all of the subtitles are different files. I'm sure that we could actually dig that up right away, but I think there's a better way to track that. So thanks for bringing that idea to the table, Alex. It's definitely a data point which I think carries value, and it's something easy for us to include into tracking. So we'll be sure to consider that. Rick is saying, I've been preoccupied with integration, creating a Roku channel for VU Player. Wow, that's a mouthful. What's new, if any, features that VU is adding? We're not adding any new major features yet. As I mentioned, we're focusing on that. No, Thrive Theme is not dead. So I'll follow up on that as well. We're focusing on that. What's it called? New player. As far as new features and updates, we do need to put some sort of a release note for the past couple of months, but it's been mostly smaller improvements with regards to debugging and new integration supports for CRM tags and so on. So I'll go through all of the enhancements and put out a release note with all of them sort of summarized, but no new quote unquote features that have been released. So that's most of the smaller updates, but some people will find something useful usually in those, especially with regards to the, for example, added CRM integrations for Mailchimp with tagging the users in Mailchimp and so on. There's been a few stuff that's worth mentioning, but I just not off the top of my head something that I can relate to. But we definitely owe you guys a release note for covering for the last couple of months on stuff that's been added. Thrive Themes is not dead. I think that integration last I've asked has been added, if I'm not mistaken. But it hasn't been added. So with regards to the Thrive themes, I think there was talks about integrating WooPlayer by being able to connect your WooPlayer account to the Thrive Architect and then browse your videos from there. And then we got feedback that was the plan from the development team, and then their product team reached back and said that wouldn't be fair because you can't log into like your Wistia account, or you can't log into with it to it with your YouTube account, and hence basically I think I'm not sure if this currently works or not, but I think that's been settled that the WooPlayer is going to be you're going to be able just to add a link as you would a YouTube link or a Vimeo link or anything like that. But again, aside from just ease of working and getting the videos, I think that they're considering that as an unfair advantage that WooPlayer would have in that. Shout at them if you are using Thrive themes and would like to have that sort of functionality. Just request it from them. It's not really up to us as far as what they integrate in their product or not. We think it will be beneficial if our users were able to quickly find their videos when they're creating WordPress pages and posts. So if it's important to you as well, do reach out to them and let them know that you would like to have that. It's an option that they've considered and drafted out. I just don't know, don't think that they will integrate it in the production version of the Thrive Architect. However, I mentioned just a simple adding of a link is something that I think they already added. Alex is saying, did you say anything about what timing are you working on when talking about new player? I assume it will replace the current one. Right. So from the user standpoint, from your guys' standpoint, nothing will change. Your embed codes will be the same. Your share links will be the same. All of the experiences and features and players and so on will be the same. So you'll see no changes or will require any changes to be upgraded. So what we'll do is we'll create sort of like a beta testing program in which everybody can enroll and test out their videos just to see what they would work like in the new player and what the new player would behave. And then that way you can basically decide if you want to make a switch now or wait. But at one time when we have enough feedback gathered, and I honestly can't say, I dare not say what the timeline would look like for that. But once we have enough feedback and we're sure that this is the improvement in relation to the current player, then we would sort of roll it out to the public. But that's a really big when and if and so on. So no exact timeline. But as far as the beta program, starting for the just for testing and gathering feedback. As I mentioned, we have a pretty functioning player already that we're excited to start showing. But I mean, I don't. Again, within by the end of the year, we should definitely have something for you guys to test out and play. But that doesn't mean that that's going to go live in production. Then it's just going to be a closed beta that people can test their videos in. Feedback. Here, that's enough. Lol. I'm just kidding. Yeah, definitely. There's been So the original, well, not the original version of WooPlayer was created back in 2008, but the current WooPlayer 4, was developed back in 2016, and it was developed on something that was then considered a good infrastructure and a good model for developing a web application. However, a lot has changed since. Browser web vendors changed their policies. A lot of OS, different integrations, especially on iOS, that have came out and have prevented videos from working in a specific way. Hybrid hosting providers have changed some of their policies, making it more difficult to serve their content through WooPlayer. As mentioned, there's been a lot of new ideas that we're now able to fit better, both in the player itself and in the market through us. Additionally, just the infrastructure in which we're approaching the new player. So currently, if you're just loading a video, just a random video that just has nothing, you just uploaded a video and you change the color of the player. Let's say that's all you did, and you load a video on your page now. With that, you're pulling the code for every single WooPlayer feature, from funnels to pre and post roll videos to subtitles to floating videos. It's all sitting in one static code, and the new player will work in such a way that it has a basic code, and then based on the features that you're adding to the WooPlayer, it will dynamically expand the code, so you only have what's needed, and that's been proving to work extremely well thus far. And as I mentioned, I'm excited to share with all of you sometime soon what we have prepared and what we have achieved. Alex is saying sounds good. Congratulations. Rick is also saying good news, so that's good. William is excited to share his feedback. Excellent. Do we have any other questions maybe that we can turn to? We still have a few minutes remaining of the allotted time. Sounds like we're all out of questions, which is all right. Some good discussion topics this week. Definitely want to thank everybody who joined this week, and hopefully we'll see you next week. And thank you for continuing to improve WooPlayer. Just a final piece of feedback from Rick: we need a game show scrolling text, like a marquee for news. I'll definitely note that. I think that's maybe like fourth or fifth time that somebody mentioned like a scrolling text, like in the lower thirds of news. So that's definitely something that we can also consider doing. I don't think that will be that difficult, and I think that's a significant amount of viable feedback for that. All right, cool. Thanks again, and hope to see you next week. Bye.